You're listening to Manifesting Miracles, but not the episode that you ever expected, right, Taylor?
Never expected it, but the episode you always needed. Welcome back, everybody.
It's time. Let's do it. Okay. So, you guys are always expecting to hear me come on and tell you how we're going to manifest, how we're going to live a better life. But what so many of you have asked is, what is Michelle J. Lamont really like? And what better situation than one of my best friends who's here visiting, who has an insane podcast that I would really love for you guys to check out, ask me some questions that I would only feel comfortable answering that you get the benefit of hearing. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it, everyone. Can I tell you how honored I am to be here? I am so honored to be here, everybody. So my name is Taylor Nardone, and the fact that I get to sit across, this isn't even virtual. Like, we are in person right now, you guys. I am in the Manifesting Miracles studio, and it's beautiful. I can confirm as I look around here. I feel like this is preparation for a future talk show for all of us. This is perfect. So yeah, we thought this would be a perfect opportunity to dive into the behind the scenes of Michelle. I have had the honor of knowing Michelle. First of all, we're going on 4 years. I met you it was June of 2022, and I was going through a huge spiritual awakening, and God knew exactly who to throw my way. And he just plopped her right down. I said, manifesting. I said, where am I going? What am I looking for? And I said, let me check this podcast out. And at the time, you had actually the cover of the podcast. You probably remember the picture. I think you were wearing, it was either a blue or green dress, and I think you were wearing black and you had a hat on.
This one.
Yes. On the mug. Pull up the mug.
The original podcast cover. Okay, so for those of you who are watching it on YouTube, you can see what Taylor's talking about right now.
So this was June of 2022, and we connected, and over the past few years, after we had worked together, we have just kind of built such a beautiful organic friendship, and, it's just been such an honor to watch you soar and fly.
To watch you soar.
I mean, listen, honey, we both soaring together. We got our wings. So, all right, let's get into some questions. Behind the camera, behind Michelle, who has done so much in this beautiful world, who has helped so many people, we wanted to find some questions today that would give you a taste of, again, who she is outside of all of this, even though this is her truly. So first question is, what's something that people assume about you that's totally wrong?
Ooh. Almost you should answer that one. That I will never, ever speak to. Okay, so I have a line that in my personal life, if you cross it, you will hear this. I will never, ever speak to them again. I don't care, Taylor. And Taylor will try to convince me, well, Michelle, they're not, maybe they were having this, or I don't care, Taylor. I will never, ever speak to them again. So when I was starting to say that line, it was funny because it's something that I would never probably say in person to somebody. I'd be like, well, let's try to work that through. Let's talk that through, where with me, I have a dead fucking line that it's a hard stop. Yeah. If you say something to me and I'm like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? Where I realize that you are in your mind either belittling me, thinking of ways to take advantage of me, lying to me, being untruthful, and I have such a strong sense of boundaries, and I have such a strong sense of intuition that there is nothing short of Jesus the Christ himself walking in and saying, yeah, you got this one wrong, Michelle. I'm going to say... So although I say forgive, move on, I do, and this is how I forgive.
You do, but exactly, you do it in your own way, though.
Yes.
Right? And so that, based upon what you have experienced in your life, see, now this is me throwing in all my normal stuff, where I'm like, but it makes sense based upon what you've experienced in your life that you would respond a certain way, and that's what you've done to protect yourself. So. I do forgive them. You do forgive, right? Yes. But forgiveness is not an invitation sometimes, right? To all of a sudden go back into a relationship. You can forgive and, as you know, cut the cord and let go, you know? And I think that there's someone today who's listening that probably needed to hear that.
Good. And I think that for me, it's more like, you know, everything is energy. And if you've expressed to me an energy that I have now processed through where it just does, you're not a vibrational match to me, it also reminds me that I'm in a quantum field of energy that I don't belong in anymore. And so if you've appeared, it's to prove to me that I no longer have to explain myself or prove myself or validate myself. And so that person comes in for me to close the door to a bigger version of myself. Excuse me. So forgiving that is me moving on and not putting your name in a jar and burying you under the ocean and causing all kinds of chaos for you. Me, forgiveness is like, I forgive you, move the fuck on, and never cross my door again, vampire. You know, and so although I will never wish harm for you, it would take so much for me to get to that. I can't even imagine. It would really be like devastating. So I would say that would be because everything is energy, and I don't want that energy to be a reflection of what I see for myself. So if you've shown me a version that you see of me that I no longer see, we're never going to see eye to eye again. So it's over.
Yeah, so that's it. So even within the work that you do, thinking about forgiveness and how important that is, I would say even with that first question, it would be like, no, you have hard stop boundaries, right? And forgiveness does not mean an open door at all times necessarily for you, right? Okay, so how about this one? Because you are such an expert at all things. So what is your most human habit that doesn't match your expert image?
Ooh, I don't know. There's 3 that I could think of.
I'm not sure, but here's 3.
Well, I'm trying to decide which one to share.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide which one to share. I think the one that I would feel most comfortable talking about, that is my most human habit, is that, well, first I get lost in a paper bag. The grocery store is just over the ocean, and I have to put my address into the Publix, into the thing. I only have to go left, straight. And you're like, how can you understand quantum entanglement and you can't drive to a grocery store? I don't know. This model doesn't come with directions, cooking, or cleaning skills.
But she always arrives.
But I always arrive, honey. Okay. So I would say that would be my most innocent human thing that people may not know about me that would surprise them. If I was going to get a little bit deeper, I would say the next human trait of mine that people probably wouldn't realize is that I would say that I believe in things 100%, but I'm not cashing checks that I haven't deposited yet. And although I live in the frequency that it is mine, I also live in the energy of, but until that invoice has been paid, I don't actually have that money. So what do I have? And it's not coming from a place of fear that money won't arrive. But I think most people would just assume that I'm like, oh, it's going to happen and it's okay. And I'm going to buy the Maserati. Even though I don't know if the car payment is here, that's really not me. And I think the last human thing that probably nobody has ever known about me, except my closest close, is that I have a medical marijuana license. And I do not drink alcohol. I do not take prescription drugs. I'm a vegan. I'm a very healthy person, and I can't sleep. And it's because of the PTSD. I've done so many different types of hypnosis and everything. And someone one day was like, why don't you try medical marijuana? And I was like, oh, that sounds fun. But it really does allow me to sleep. And so I think those are 3 things that I've never said before and that I'll probably never say again. So if you don't hear this episode, you'll never know that. But I would say that would be it.
I love it. And actually, I think even going off of that, because I think you just touched on a piece. Yeah. So being in this space and in this field, right, which is just so interconnected to, like, you've built all of this off of your journey, right? Like organically, this is what has transpired in your life. This is where, God has led you. And so you've built all of this. So what is something that you still struggle with even as a teacher in this space?
I think the thing that I still have trouble with as a teacher in this space is not understanding why people can't switch fast enough. To me, I can read someone's energy even on a Zoom or in a one-on-one call or whatever it is, and I can almost hear like, this is a father wound, or this is a money wound, or this is a love wound, or whatever it is. And for me, I just can't wrap my brain around the fact that there is this whole other reality right in front of you that you could just step right the fuck into. And you're choosing to stay here because you won't break up with the boyfriend, you won't leave the job, or you won't forgive the father, or you won't forgive the mother. And you're like, they have to pay penance and they don't deserve my forgiveness, or whatever it is. And people keep themselves locked. And I get so, and I can't get angry, but I get so frustrated because, yes. And so the patience that I have to come up with to give them the launching pad, the long enough runway to figure out how to run and fly, sometimes can feel very inhibiting or frustrating because I can see what's there. Why can't you?
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Oh my gosh. You saying for me or for you?
Yeah, for you.
For me as a teacher? Well, I would say from a teaching perspective, I actually would say it's very similar. So one of the things that I work on with folks is people will come to me with these really big lofty goals, which I love. And what I'm really good at is, should I switch?
Yeah, because you're
Hi, everybody. So anyway, this is what we're saying. So I think for me, it's interesting. I think I'm very good at simplifying a journey for people and giving them very actionable steps, very simple steps. And there are times when I see so clearly the roadmap. I'm like, yep, do this. Nope, but hold off on this thought. And then just focus on this. Like put all of our energy into this right now. And I watch sometimes as people are darting around all those things. But then it always comes up as to, what else we have to uncover? What else do we have to move through? But sometimes there is that struggle of seeing so clearly what those steps are. And I'm like, but just hold my hand if you can and then something happens, right? But it's all internal. It's all internal for people, So I think it's still a process. But yeah, so from a teaching perspective, I will say, I think for us sometimes, and by the way, I struggle with all this stuff myself personally, but like, being as a teacher in this space, I think, it can be, we can see very clearly oftentimes like, oh, boom, boom, boom. This is what we're going to do. And you're going to hit it.
Right.
But then there's all this other stuff that pops up,
These little side quests.
all these little side quests. So anywho,
Okay.
that's what I would say. Should we switch one more time?
Yeah.
Because I have another question for you, and then we're going to switch again.
All right.
So we're just going to keep on switching.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. What do you think people underestimate about you? Come on now.
Underestimate. I think people underestimate who aren't in the spiritual world. For instance, if you know the episode about how all of my neighbors have been talking about me behind my back for 8 months, taking pictures, having a chat, that was a previous episode. And I would use that as an example. They all underestimated that my kindness was weakness. And, right? Because my number one goal is to always make people feel completely okay and seen. And like, if I'm there, everything's okay. I'll pay for it. I'll buy it. I'll fix it. I'll take care of it. Because my genuine heart is to never experience suffering or be a part of suffering. And so I front face as somebody who's very kind and loving, and that's who I am. But people misinterpret my kindness as weakness. And they'll say, oh, she's this or she's that. And then as soon as I pull my energy away, they realize how boring their life was, how sad their reality was, how happy I was, what a bright light I am in their life, and what energy I really brought. And the biggest takeaway is that they thought that she was just somebody who would like take it and keep going. And I am bitter Betty about that kind of stuff. Bitter Betty, honey. And I am always going to be someone, not petty, but I will go through the petty list and do like the one thing that I feel if I do this, I'm never going to talk to them again kind of vibe, like make a whole podcast about you and expose you to the entire world. And knowing that one of you know I've made this podcast and now all of you are in the annals of history as the little, clutch pearls looking through the window, wishing you had any vibration I had ability. And so if you can't be me, you must talk about me. And so energy. So I think the one thing that people misunderstand is they think I'm so nice and I'm so sweet and I'm so compassionate and so caring. But I'm a Scorpio, Gemini. CIA came out with a list of the people who are most likely to be serial killers. Okay? So what are the signs? The first sign is a Sagittarius. Almost 70% of all serial killers are Sagittariuses. Yeah, my ex-husband. Number 2, Gemini. And number 3, Scorpio. I am a Scorpio, Gemini. So this insane energy inside of me of absolutely being able to grab a bat and beat you to death is something that people would never expect out of me. But I can go from 0 to 100. I can be sitting here talking very sweet, very whatever, and somebody walks up and kicks my dog. That person will have a very hard time breathing for the rest of their life. I won't stop until every part of their body is brutalized by my hands because you did something to something I love. So people think of me as so sweet and so tempered and I have so much patience, and I do. But if you were to touch my dog or you touch Taylor or you touch Haley, it would be a done deal. The serial killer would come out. And so never underestimate my kindness as weakness. It is tempered and it is delivered in a way, in a system that allows you to come in and accept it. But if you use my kindness and try to weaponize it against me, not only have you yourself created a tsunami of energy and angels that are going to come after you, you've also taught me that I have to keep my shield up even more. I have to be even more protective of me. And like in that situation, in this situation with the street, all of these people, like one of the things in the group chat that I saw about myself was, but I just don't understand. Is she actually this nice? Why is she always so happy? Why is she so nice? It's weird. Does she want to steal our children? And I am actually that nice. And I love to be that nice. But I also can go solid rock hard all the way down to you only are breathing because I don't want to murder you energy. And so I think that people would have just assumed that you don't have that in you anymore. You're like so kind and so generous. But don't underestimate my kindness as weakness, because just because I'm not the rabid, like ready to jump and pounce jaguar that I had to be my entire life, doesn't mean that it's not roaring to come out at any second. It has to be tempered, it has to be regulated, it has to be understood.
Alrighty, well, for this last one, I'm actually going to pass the mic back to you.
Give it to me. Switch.
Ducking underneath. Okay.
Okay, now, let me tell you how this is going to go. Okay, let me see the question.
I actually don't have that written down on here.
Okay. So what we basically had said that we would go on each other's podcast because we have that level of comfort with one another. And the final question would be a question that I'm going to ask Taylor, so his audience will come and listen to the result on my podcast. And then he's going to ask me that question on his podcast so you guys can hear the answer to how I would have answered that on his show. And I trust Taylor enough to let you in his world and his in our world. So, Taylor, my dear, dear friend, who I love and adore and wish you were my next door neighbor. Okay, so what is the one thing that you think nobody would really see about you as in a friendship way, right? No, that's not what we're saying. Remind me.
So
Yeah, that's why, because I'm dyslexic.
You guys should have seen us this morning at 7:30 sitting on the couch going, okay, wait, but we're we're drinking this. Michelle made us some hot water with lemon. So we're sitting there sipping this. And I'm going, wait, explain it to me again. And I'm sorry, one more time. Because one thing about me too is that I can't find the rice in the pantry. I can't find my car when I leave the supermarket. It took me a year and a half in high school to get to my friend's house 15 minutes. It was GPS every day. And in those days, we didn't have the GPS on our phones. I had to put the Garmin. I had a Garmin. So no, you're going to ask me what is one thing, pretty kind of going along with the previous questions, I think.
Okay.
That you think.
Only your best friend would know.
Yes.
Okay. So I am dying for everybody to love you as much as I love you. So what is the one thing about me as my closest friend that people would never guess or know about me unless you let them in on the secret?
Okay. And I think this is a perfect one to speak on after that last question here. So I would say that behind all of that, behind every beautiful part and piece of Michelle, is a girl who is ready to be loved, who wants to be loved, who wants to put her shoulders down, have a man sweep her off her feet, be able to breathe a little easier, not have to be the protector all the time, provider, all of the things for yourself. And that you have navigated such a transformative, difficult life that you have to walk with a posture where you are ready at any point in time. And behind all of that is someone who really does want to love people and loves people so much, which you guys know that listening to this podcast. Somebody who loves people, who cares about people, who trusts people, who just wants to be friends with people, who doesn't think maliciously about people, who doesn't lead with that in any way. Who, it's just Michelle, who goes out there, who is happy, who is joyful. And I think we're hoping for a year for 2026 for Michelle. This is between me and you guys here. Okay. A year of some love for her. We'll see what happens.
It's on the vision board.
It's on the vision board, and we are planting it into this reality right now on this podcast. We'll see, but slowly moving in that direction, because I think you guys can agree with me that she deserves it. And I would say long overdue, but I do believe everything happens at the perfect appointed time. So therefore, it will be at the perfect appointed time.
So what he's really saying is that he's going to marry me and that we're going to live happily ever after in our lavender marriage. And we want to thank you for tuning into this episode. Next it's time for us to go deep with Taylor.
Woo!
Woo! All right, now we're going to pose for a picture. No, actually, let me close like I always close. And in 3, 2, 1. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything, 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 everything,